kind of been a while since my last Yanderedev video, so I feel like it'll be fun to talk about the things that have happened since, because this dude's just kinda losing it, and he's been showing a lot more of his true colors, which are somehow even worse than what he's been showing us up until now, believe it or not. Either way, the dude's going a bit nuts, so let's just get right into this update video. Yes, our good friend Alex has finally slipped down to one of the slimiest tactics used to silence criticism known to man, false copyright strikes. The victim being a channel by the name of Game Sleuth, and while the issue has been resolved seemingly as of now, it's appalling that it even happened in the first place. There was also an apology video posted by Game Sleuth, which, let's be real, was either a last-ditch attempt to get his channel back, or he was forced by Alex to make it. And the dudes don't think he's being held at gunpoint during the video, so I don't doubt it's probably the latter. I swear to god, the levels of depravity this guy is sinking to is astounding. I'd say I'd want to throw hands with him, but that would actually require physical contact with the guy, and just doing that would probably be enough to give me an STD, so I'll stick to harshly criticizing him over the internet for now. Fingers crossed that this video won't be just fucking obliterated by the guy. And anyways, the whole copyright strike story got picked up by a lot of larger creators, such as some ordinary gamers, and even Scarce, the news guy, so I honestly don't doubt that had some part to play in Yanderedev stopping the strikes. All of you guys know pretty well that the #1 thing I hate on YouTube is creators abusing the copyright system to silence criticism. I've been in similar drama in the past with a certain gacha tuber that I'm sure most of you remember, but anyways, it pisses me off to no end that this is what Alex did instead of, oh, I don't know, acting his age and having a mature conversation about it. Because after all, if this all really is just information, I'm sure you'd have no problem coming out with actual proof and screenshots that, you know, would exonerate yourself of all the stuff you're being accused of, right? I mean, it's gonna be kinda hard to prove that you didn't belittle and mock a CSA victim in the blog post I went over last video. It's kinda hard to try and convince everyone you have been making progress on your nearly decade-old game that's still missing literally the main mechanic. It's also going to be kind of difficult to disprove the fact that you used upskirt photos of high school girls as actual currency in your game, or the fact that you made body pillows of said high schoolers, or the part where you wrote in a character specifically to be in a relationship with you, or the part where you bought a love doll you imagined to be a 14-year-old girl, or the fact that you act like a 13-year-old boy on an anime roleplay Discord server, or hey, what's this? That doesn't look important, but as I was saying, if you actually have proof that all the things people are saying about you are indeed false, just come out with the receipts and prove it. You wouldn't have to copyright strike people and silence criticism like you've been doing over and over in the past, but you could just come right out and set the record straight, but instead all you do is cry misinformation and do nothing to actually prove it. Let's play devil's advocate for a moment and say this is all misinformation. That still doesn't excuse you false copyright claiming the videos at all. In fact, it just makes you look worse because no one's gonna sit back and let you do this. They're obviously gonna speak out about it. And even so, with your history of silencing criticism, it would be really suspicious if a channel suddenly got hit with a bunch of copyright strikes on only videos about you. And if you were innocent before, your copyright claiming only makes you guilty now. By copyright striking Game Sleuth, you just prove that you're exactly like what people are saying about you. Have you ever heard of the Streisand effect? If people are aware that you're trying to silence something, that something just becomes all they talk about. Also, look at the way he acted in Game Sleuth Live. This dude is 32 years old and making fun of someone for having glasses. I thought we left that shit in stereotypical children's media bully dialogue. Like, why make fun of someone for having glasses in the first place? Literally all we're doing is trying to see. We didn't ask to be blind. And for real, Alex, going after someone's looks? You after someone else's looks? Please, just check yourself before you Shrek yourself.
Like you could, G.
Yanderedev is known to have very strict rules when it comes to his Discord. After all, it's so common to get banned there that people actually speedrun it with the top time literally being 0 seconds. It's actually kind of sad that this guy's mod bots work better than his actual game, but I digress. Have you ever asked yourself what exactly the rules on Yanderedev's Discord server are? I find myself speculating from time to time, but thanks to these screenshots we can take a pretty solid look. Rule number 1, don't acknowledge trolls and don't talk about drama. This is the most important rule. If you can't follow this rule, you'll be banned without warning. It's apparently so important that he had to say it 15 times in a row. I wonder what got him doing that. I also love how even his server members are weirded out by this, but this doesn't even appear to actually be rule number 1. Rule number 1, according to this bot, is actually never talk about anything that might upset Yanderedev, including jokes, criticism, complaints, suggestions, or using his real name. This is actually fucking hilarious to me because the fact that suggestions and criticisms are enough to upset this guy is just so insane. Like, sure, criticisms don't always feel good, but suggestions? Suggestions literally only help improve the game via community input and will likely result in a more enjoyable experience if they're taken seriously. This just goes to show the actual level of sensitivity this guy displays. He shouldn't even be on the internet, much less making a whole ass game if this is how he acts. This guy is just so blatant with the way he refuses to take any criticism or even any form of negativity in general that it's akin to the level of maturity a 5-year-old possesses. It's astonishing how he even made it this far on the internet, and it's simply a wonder how he hasn't quit yet. I mean, honestly, I guess the level of effort he puts into silencing his critics answers my question of how does he even deal with slight negativity, so yeah. Rule number 10 is even funnier to me. No arguing about the characters' ages or you will be banned. The fact that this even needs to be a rule just speaks volumes. I mean, a simple solution would just to not have upskirts as a currency or not make lewd content in general, but apparently that's just, too much to ask for some people. I mean, even if the characters were adults, having the whole panty shot function would still be really weird. I just find the fact that there are frequent conversations about characters' ages that Yanderedev feels the need to suppress a little odd. The guy just needs to call it quits because this is just too much. I mean, look at this little nugget from his Discord. Criticism isn't how a game improves. Criticism is just literally how everything improves. Can't seem to pitch right? Adjust your stance. Your feet are placed wrong. Struggling with anatomy? Rotate the head a little to the right. Cake doesn't taste quite right. Maybe use a little less butter next time. Song not sounding great? Maybe try a different set of chords. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Your criticism is just how you improve, and it feels insane that he even said this. I also appreciate the several people typing thing at the bottom. I wonder how many of those people got instantly banned after this. Everyone needs criticism, especially you, Alex. I'd even go so far to say that you're one of the people in need of it most, but I guess this is why you're just so widely disliked. You refuse to take advice, friendly or not, and you refuse to receive any input from someone that's not yourself. Not only does your game need critique, you do as a person. I don't know you, but the way you conduct yourself online does not make me want to have a conversation with you on a personal level or even be in the same room as you, really. The whole Yanderedev thing has become a little more mainstream in recent times, likely due to the announcement of Love Letter along with Chalice memes, and that was really only amplified with the whole copyright striking situation. Hashtag RIP Yanderedev was even trending on Twitter for a while. Basically, a lot more eyes on the situation now, making it a lot harder for Alex to do damage control because, like I mentioned earlier, the more he tries to silence criticism, the more people are going to criticize and meme on him, and the more desperate he gets to try and salvage his reputation, the more people are going to shut him down. Like what happened here. Yanderedev tried to edit his own wiki page, removing a whole paragraph and basically just citing misinformation, gossip, drama, and trolls as his reason for doing so. The changes were undone, and he got an official site warning from the actual fucking wiki veterans. It's good to see that they're not falling for his shit, but the fact that he even tried to do this in the first place is just endlessly amusing to me. He's trying to censor one of the biggest general information sites in the world like they won't catch on to his bullshit. Reddit is one thing, but you really can't try this shit on Wikipedia of all places. Also, take a look at this video courtesy of YouTuber DuckLife9000. I mean, this really just speaks for itself, doesn't it? Like, there's nothing too inherently malicious with this, obviously. It just kind of serves as a testament to how badly Yanderedev is losing his shit right now. Alex, if you ever want to salvage what little reputation you have, you seriously need to get serious about your public image. Sure, you've been memed to hell and back, everyone knows about your simping problem. You've basically only dug yourself even deeper into this bad PR hole by trying literally almost any method you can think of to get rid of competition or criticism. Your Discord is known for being a no free speech zone with you as the tyrannical leader. You get what I'm trying to say. I mean, actually this part was trying to give him advice on how to save his public image, but the more I list things, that I just don't even know if it's possible at this point. I was gonna say start with fixing your game so it can look like an actual competitor to Love Letter, but then I remembered, the triangle count of the models. Take a look at this. The model for the standard male swimmer, 1 million tries. Standard male model, 500k. The individual wigs. Hell, the heaviest model in the game is a decorative toothbrush. By the way, big thanks to the folks in my Discord for helping me out with with this because I have no idea about anything when it comes to 3D modeling. But Yanderedev likely ripped the assets from somewhere else, and then as sort of a side effect, the models were heavily triangulated, making the game run like ass. Alex has a bad habit of blaming people's computers for not being able to run the game, but really, the game is just so overloaded with unnecessary heavy-ass models that even people with actual gaming computers cap at like 25 FPS. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about when it comes to coding a game or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure those huge model files do not help the game run any better than it already does.
Hey Lois.
こっちを見ろ。
Yanderedev's fans are mostly really young. This is honestly a bit of a similar debate when it comes to Gacha, a game that has/had adult content in it consumed by mostly children. There are some main differences, one being that Yandere Simulator is obviously not aimed towards mostly children like Gacha is, but both have a relatively young fan base. There's also the difference of Yanderedev's whole personality. He's really manipulative and has proven himself to have just a simply horrible set of morals. I say this over and over and over in my videos, but kids are really impressionable, and Yanderedev constantly repeating that everything that's being said about him is just misinformation and that all his critics are just haters and trolls obviously makes the kids who are fans of his believe that, and leads him to refuse to listen to the truth because they've been, for lack of a better term, brainwashed into thinking that any criticism against poor Yanderedev is some kind of unwarranted attack. There's also the issue of Yanderedev's main artist mulberry art tracing like a lot. The liner is literally just one and the same except for the hair and a few other minor details. It's so obvious it's painful, and just look at the comments. Comment removed for spam, I didn't trace, comment removed for spam, I didn't trace again, and according to other various Twitter users, asking if she traced just gets them removed for spam too. Actually hilarious. She's also Yanderedev's head mod, so it makes a lot of sense why she's so trigger happy when it comes to silencing criticism or just simple inquiries really. And if you look at this art compared to her regular work, the styles are so drastically different. The eyes, the face shape, the general body structure, it's all way more cartoonish compared to her normal art. Style tests are cool and all, but usually you can tell it's the same artist. If you show me Mulberry's regular art alongside that and asked me to guess if they were the same artist, I would have said no. I don't get how she didn't expect for people to not ask if it was traced. Her only defense against the flagged comments is just I didn't trace twice in a row. I'd say fair play if we didn't have proof, but we do, and it's so deep in the pudding it might as well just be a new flavor, like truth flavored pudding. That picture is so traced it might as well just be a recolor. You should have just called it an edit if anything, because that would have at least exonerated you of trying to claim it as your own art. Well, there you have it, part 2. Hopefully you guys don't mind repeated topics too much, but I did get some new information this time around, so it might make up for it. And I also really need to find other topics to cover other than Gacha, because that's starting to get annoying for me. Anyways, Yanderedev really shouldn't receive as much support as he gets, but his fanbase is a bunch of really loyal kids, so unfortunately he still has at least some semblance of a core audience. If you know someone who's still in favor of this guy, feel free to pass on the word, and with that I'll be ending the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, I make a lot more like it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.